In this video, I'm going to break down exactly what a parent can do to help their athlete get through an injury. Let's get started. Hey, welcome back, and if you're new here, welcome to you as well. Today we are talking about what parents can do to help their athlete overcome the mental challenges that occur when they get injured. This is actually some of the most rewarding work that I do. In the Train with PERC name, the PERC acronym actually stands for Performance Excellence and Recovery Consulting. The performance excellence piece is obviously the high performance psychology piece, but it's actually the recovery side of things that's work that I really enjoy and I'm really passionate about, making sure that I can help athletes who are coming off an injury to get themselves back to the best possible mental place that they can be as they go into their sport and as they return to competition. It's not always an easy thing. A huge portion of that work, of course, is obviously I do a lot of work with youth and high school and college age athletes. A huge portion of the work is actually coaching the parents on how they can best support their athlete going through this process as well. So today I put together my 5 best tips that any parent can use to not only help their athlete get back to the field, the court, the pitch, the ice as quickly as possible, but also in the best possible mental state as well. Before we get to those 5 tips, I do have a free gift for all you parents who chose to take time out of your day and to swing by my channel. If you have an athlete who could really use a boost in their ability to mentally prepare, or that you just want them to start investing in the mental side of their game, I've got a great way for you to do it, and also it's free. I want you to get over to trainwithperk.com/free guide. That free guide takes about 10 minutes to get through, but it contains 3 easy to install steps and exercises and tools with actual tactics that they can use that's immediately going to help them better mentally prepare for their next big moment. Again, that's trainwithperk.com/free guide. All right, tip number 1 is to let them grieve the immediate loss of their sport. To your athlete, their sport has probably become a big part of their life. It's a big part of who they are, and it's also really important to them. So when they find themselves in a situation that's completely outside of their control, that's caused their sport to be stripped away from them so suddenly, odds are that's going to feel like a loss, and sometimes it feels like a big loss. And one of the mistakes that I think I see parents make oftentimes is parents see the situation for their athletes as, well, you got hurt, you'll go through the rehab process and you'll recover, and then you'll go back to your sport. This can often drive a wedge between the parents and the athlete, because yes, while the parents are just trying to be objective about the situation, the athlete is still experiencing the big emotional toll of the loss of their sport. This also means your athlete is going to go through some version of the 5 stages of grief. And I'm sure you've heard of these, but they are, of course, denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and then finally, of course, acceptance. I'm sure if you're a parent watching this and you've had an athlete that's gone through an injury, you've seen some version of each of these 5 stages, and it can be really challenging at times for you as a parent to manage this or really to know what to do about it. Because honestly, some athletes, they're gonna go through this process fairly quickly. Others, it might take them a couple weeks. You do, however, need to let them go through this natural process. And yes, sometimes they may get stuck at a certain stage and they may need some additional help to get to the next one. Now, I can't break down exactly what to do for your athlete in each stage because it's just so different for everybody. But what I tried to do with this video is to make the remaining 4 tips very helpful for you to help them go through this process as naturally and as efficiently as possible, so that way they get themselves, of course, to the place where we want them to be, and that is, of course, acceptance of the injury itself. All right, tip number 2 is to encourage them to invest in other areas of their life while they recover. One of the things that can be really helpful is to put the athlete in a position that reminds them that they are, in fact, more than just an athlete. For example, if they've been spending a ton of time training and traveling and working on their sport, it may be a bit of a win for you to remind them that, you know what, now that you're hurt, it might actually be some time to go reconnect with some of the friends that you haven't seen for a while. Go to the mall, go to the movies, just get them out of the house. They may also have other hobbies in their life that they haven't been able to invest in as much because of all the time that has gone into their sport. So now that they've gotten injured and they're going through this recovery process, it would be a great time for you to encourage them to maybe take up some of those other hobbies as well while they go through this process. The thing that I tell parents to do is to just get them out of the house, because odds are if you can get them out of the house, they're also going to be getting out of their head about the fact that they're injured, and that's really going to help. All right, tip number 3, give them as much clarity as you can. When your athlete gets hurt, one of the single biggest challenges that they're going to have to deal with is actually dealing with all of the uncertainty that comes from being injured. They are going to be asking questions like, how long am I going to be out? How brutal is the rehab going to be? And maybe the most popular one, am I going to be the same athlete that I was before I got hurt? Obviously, neither you nor their medical professional are going to have all the answers in this situation, but I would encourage you, and I would encourage you to have the conversation with the medical professional, with your athlete, to just try and give as much clarity to either the rehab process, what this looks like, the severity of the injury. Provide as much clarity as you can. The best thing that you or the doctor or the physical therapist can be to your athlete is honest and as transparent as possible. Even if your athlete doesn't like the honesty or the transparency, at least they have the information, which is going to again allow them to get to that place of acceptance that we talked about in the first tip. Tip number 4, identify other areas in their sport that they can improve on while also recovering. This is a big one, and it's honestly a really important conversation that I have often with just about every single one-on-one client that comes to me because they're dealing with an injury. Because to be honest with you, there's more to sport than just the physical and the technical training. In fact, there are 2 other aspects of your child's sport that they can improve on that have nothing to do with their body. You have the tactical side of the sport, and then of course you also have the mental side of their sport as well. Many times athletes are actually neglecting these 2 areas of their sport. So the injury, while as unfortunate and uncomfortable and just infuriating as it can be for the athlete, it actually opens the door for them to start to improve maybe some other areas of their sport that they haven't spent a lot of time in. The tactical side of the game is that game IQ, the understanding of strategies and tactics and adjustments that you can make. And this can be improved on by simply just watching film, if the athlete wants to watch film of himself or of other teams, or turn on a professional gamer match and have them break down what they see the professionals are doing from the tactical side of their sport. There's also a ton that can be done mentally, especially because the majority of athletes do absolutely nothing to improve their ability to mentally perform or the mental aspect of their game. And that's where that free guide that I talked about earlier, that's where that comes in. So make sure that you go over there and that you get them that. There will also be a link to that guide down below in the description. All right, tip number 5 is to celebrate any and all progress in their rehab. Celebrate everything. If they've increased their range of motion, celebrate it. If they can put more weight on the area that was injured, take them out to ice cream. Here's the thing, rehab sucks. Nobody likes it. And even for my professional athlete clients, if they have to go through rehab, it's arguably more mentally taxing than actually playing their sport. With that understanding, you really need to gamify the rehab process, because the only way that they're going to get better is if they put in the work. And when they put in the work, reward them. And dare I say, sometimes the biggest reward of all for your child is if you just tell them that you're proud of them. If you enjoyed the video, hit that thumbs up button. If you're new here, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. And if you haven't already, make sure that you get over there, trainwithpert.com/free guide, to help your child start improving the mental aspect of their sport before it's too late. I'll see you next week.